King of Hearts is the only one without a stash. Squeeze our host Jose and win that cash on Card Sharks. And now, here's your host of Card Sharks, Jose Cazares.
Thank you very much. What's going on, everybody? Thank you very much, Turd Ferguson, and welcome into another exciting edition of Card Sharks right here in the MVG studios. We are so glad to have you back here with us tonight. Well, on our last show, we had a heck of a premiere and made a bunch of historic moments happen on our last show. We've got a champion coming back who's picked up 2 wins in a row and has a total so far of $19,600. We welcome back our champion, Mr. Brandon Hinkle. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Jose. It's so good to see you, good sir.
I'm glad to have you back. You have had a heck of a run so far. You picked up 2 wins, and you've had some very good winnings on the money cards. As you make that run to 5, the challengers, I think, are going to get a little tougher for you. But do you think you have what it takes to keep the championship running?
I'll give it my all, good sir.
Well, it's all you really can do. I wish you the best of luck here tonight.
Thank you, good sir.
And we welcome in our first player for this episode tonight, Brandon's next challenger, Mr. Lawrence McNeil. Good
hello,
answer.
Jose. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I was about to say good answer because he hadn't said anything, but there he is. All right. Glad to have you here with us, Lawrence. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
I'm 25. I'm a cashier part-time at a local thrift store near me. My spare time, I like playing guitar and game shows, hoping to start my own YouTube channel. And, here for fun.
All right, well, you're up against a good champion here in Brandon. Do you think you have what it takes to become the new champion yourself?
Well, let's see.
That's all we really can do, so not going to take any more of you guys' time. Let's get right into our game. Now, of course, as you know, to gain control of the cards, I'm going to give you a high-low toss-up question. The one who gets it right will have control of the cards first. Your goal is to make your way from the left to the right of the board without making a mistake, calling it high-low. The first person to do so wins the round. It takes 2 round wins to win a match, and the winner goes on to the money cards where they can win a potential $32,000. Alright, so with that said, let's get started with our first round. And the first question goes to our champion. So Brandon, this first question goes to you. Good luck to you both. Brandon, we asked 100 Star Wars fans. Oh god, we're starting with this. Can you do a Wookiee impression? How many of those Star Wars fans said that yes, they could?
I would say that's probably round about like near a middle number. I'm going to say round about 38.
Alright, he says 38 out of 100 Star Wars fans can do a Wookiee impression. Lawrence, higher or lower than 38?
Well, that's a very, very rare Star Wars character, but, you'd be surprised with what people can really pull off in the talents today. So I'll go a little bit higher, honestly. I'm not sure.
Alright, he says higher than that. Alright, if it is higher, Lawrence, you'll get control of the cards first. If not, Brandon will get control. The actual number of Star Wars fans who can do a Wookiee impression is 63. It is higher. It's like Lawrence said, you never know what these people could do.
Yep.
Alright, so
Yeah.
Lawrence, you've got control of the cards first. Let's take a look at your base card. We're going to start you off with a 5. Now, you won the question, so of course you have the right to change it if you so wish.
We're going to keep it, Jose, and go higher.
Alright, you're going to keep it higher than the 5. It's an ace.
Lower, please.
Going on lower than the ace. It's a 6.
Let's see. Higher.
Going on again, higher than the 6. It's a 9.
Let's freeze.
Of course, he can't freeze along the way if he feels like he can run into a bad card, and he has done just that. Lawrence now frozen at the 9. He not only keeps Brandon away from his cards, but Lawrence is now 1 card away from winning the round. And speaking of Lawrence, this next question goes to you.
Yay.
All right, Lawrence, we asked 100 librarians. Oh, well, I guess this question is about to prove to us why this is going to get a PG rating.
Oh boy.
Who knows? Maybe it could be a more stricter rating. But anyways, we asked 100 librarians. Would you pose nude for a calendar if the proceeds went to a good cause? How many of those librarians said yes, they would?
Oh Lord. That's a very difficult number. Especially if it's librarians. 64.
All right, he says 64 out of 100 librarians would pose nude for a calendar if the proceeds went to a good cause. Brandon, higher or lower than 64?
I hope that's real lower.
He's going lower than that. All right, the actual number of librarians who, if the proceeds went to a good cause, they would pose nude for a calendar is 36. It is lower. All right. I think it's a matter of if their humbleness or if their dignity can overpower each other. But that's beside the point. We're not talking about that right now. All right, so Brandon, our champion, you get control of your cards for the first time. Let's take a look at your base card. You have a deuce.
Yeah, higher.
All right, keeping it going higher than the deuce. It's a 9.
Ace.
All right. He is frozen at the 9. He keeps Lawrence away from his cards. And he gets 1 step closer. All right, third question of 4 in this round, and it goes back to the champion. Brandon, we asked 100 people. Have you ever had a dream so good you tried to fall back to sleep to find out what would happen next? How many of those 100 people said yes, they had?
Let's see. I think that should be around a high number because I think that happens to me sometime. I think that's around about maybe 70.
All right, he says 70 out of 100 have done that. Lawrence, higher or lower than 70?
I would say lower than that. Go lower, Jose.
All right, he says lower than that. The actual number of people who have had a dream so good that they tried to fall back to sleep to find out what would happen next is 70. We have another exacta.
Wow. Nicely.
What?
Yes, the actual answer is 70, and for the second episode in a row, we have an exact answer. And Brandon, that's $1,000 in bonus cash for you, bringing you now to $20,600.
Holy moly!
Well, you didn't think it would happen again, but lo and behold, the history making just continues on. All right, well, Brandon, you got control once again, and you have that 9.
I'd like to change that card, please, good sir.
All right, the 9 goes away, and we replace it with a jack.
Lower.
Going lower than the jack, it's a 4.
Higher.
Going on higher than the 4. No, it's a deuce. You lose those 2 cards, go back to the jack, and that gives Lawrence a free chance at the 9, which he cannot change.
Oh boy. You know, it's one of these things. Let's go higher.
Going against the odds for the first round of the match, and $1,000 higher than the 9. Oh, whoops. Wrong higher. No, it's a 4.
Yeah, it's all right.
So no progress is made there. I accidentally hit the wrong button there. But now we go to our fourth and final question of the round. It is sudden death, which means somebody has to win on this next play of the cards. Lawrence, the question goes to you.
Okay.
We asked 100 men, if you caught your best friend's fiancé cheating the day before their wedding, would you tell him? How many said that they would?
Good lord. Hey, the day before. Oh gosh. We'll talk about last minute shenanigans. But anyways, I'll say about 73. 73, yeah.
Alright, he says 73 out of 100 would tell him. Brandon, higher or lower than 73?
I think it's lower than that.
Alright, he thinks lower. Alright, for all important control of the cards, the actual number of men who, if they caught their best friend's fiancé cheating the day before their wedding, they would tell him is 76. It is not lower.
Mercy.
Alright, Lawrence, the decision is on you. Let me just lay down the situation for you. Now you have that 9. You won the question, so you have the right to change it. You would have to call this one card correctly. Call it wrong, and Brandon takes game number 1. However, you have control. You can force Brandon to play off the jack, which he cannot change. He has to call 3 cards right, and if he makes even one mistake, you win the first round of the match. The decision's on you, Lawrence. What is it going to be?
You know what? If I take matters in my own hands, it's gonna be in my own hands. So we're gonna play and change the 9.
Alright, Lawrence is going to play it himself, changing that 9. An all-important change coming up here. The 9 becomes a 6.
Oh gosh. Well, let's go higher.
For $1,000 and to take the first round of the match. Higher than the 6. No, it's a 4, and Brandon takes game number 1. Lawrence made the right move, just unfortunately just did not work out, and that means that the champion takes the first game. We give Brandon another $1,000 for winning that round. You're now up to $21,600 and 1 round away from winning your third match. But with that said, let's clear the board and get things ready for our second round. Alright, so for our second round, our challenger gets the first question. So Lawrence, this one goes to you.
Okay.
We asked 100 office workers. Oh boy. Have you ever eaten someone else's food from the fridge without their permission? How many admitted that they had?
Repeat the question, please.
Certainly. We asked 100 office workers. Have you ever eaten someone else's food from the fridge without their permission? How many admitted that they had?
Oh man, well, you know what? I mean, if we're really hungry like that, yeah. But in today's times, who knows? But 55.
All right, he says 55 out of 100 have admitted to this. Champ, higher or lower than 55?
I think it's higher than that.
Thinks it's even higher than that. All right, let's find out together. The actual number of office workers who have admitted to eating someone else's food from the fridge without their permission is 37. It is not higher. All right, so Lawrence, you get control of your cards. Let's take a look at your opening base card. You have a deuce.
Okay then. Don't fail me now. Higher.
Higher than the deuce, it's a king.
Lower, please.
Going on lower than the king. No, it's an ace!
Ah,
Whoa.
come on.
You
Wow.
lose those 2 cards, you go right back to the deuce, and that means our champion gets a free chance to play off his cards with an 8.
Okay, let's go higher.
Higher than the 8, it's a queen.
Lower.
Lower than the queen, another 8.
Ace.
Freezing right there, needing 2 more cards to have his 3rd win of his run. And Brandon, the next question goes to you. Here it is. All right, we're done with that one. Let's go to the next one, and here it is. Brandon, we asked 100 people, if you overslept on your first day at a new job, would you lie about why you were late? How many said that they would lie?
Oh, I don't think that's a very high number because I think it should be honest with you. I think that's around about 30.
30?
It says 30.
All right, he says 30 out of 100 would lie. Lawrence, higher or lower than 30?
I would go higher because, nowadays, lots of people lie.
All right, he's going higher than that. The actual number of people who, if they overslept on their first day at a new job, they would lie about why they were late is 58. It is higher. All right, Lawrence, you've got control, and you have that deuce.
Let's try this again. Higher, please.
Going higher than the deuce. It's a king again.
Here we go. Don't do the same ish earlier, please. Lower.
Going on lower than the king. This time it works. It's an 8.
Yeah. Lord help me. Let's freeze.
Freezing at that 8. Both of our players are tied up at 3 cards apiece, needing only 2 more to win. All right, we go on to our 3rd question of this round, and Lawrence, it goes to you. We asked 100 psychiatrists, do you think physical illness can be cured by a faith healer? How many of those psychiatrists said yes?
You know what? 63.
All right, he says 63 out of 100 think that the illness can be cured by a faith healer. Brandon, higher or lower than 63?
Did you say by a faith healer, you said?
Yes, do they think that physical illness can be cured by a faith healer? How many of those 100 psychiatrists said yes?
Okay. I think that might be just a midget lower, just a midget.
Alright, he says lower than that. The actual number of psychiatrists who do think that physical illness can be cured by a faith healer is 37. It is lower. Alright, the champion has control, and you have that 8.
Only I love Olaf, but not when it comes to card chucks. Sorry, Olaf, you gotta go.
Alright, the 8 goes away, and we replace it with an ace!
Beautiful card. Lower.
One lower than the ace, it's an 8.
Ace.
He's freezing, needing only one more card to win the match. And now we go to our 4th and final question once again. It is sudden death. Somebody has to win on this next play of the cards, and the question goes to the champion. Alright, Brandon, here we go. We asked 100 single men, would you go on a reality TV show to find love? How many of those single men said yes, they would?
I'll say about maybe 45.
Say it again. 35?
45.
3-5 or 4-5?
45.
this, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, he says 35 out of 100 would go on a reality TV show. Lawrence, higher or lower than 35?
I'll definitely say higher just for the publicity.
All right, for all important control of the cards, the actual number of single men who would go on a reality TV show to find love is 30. It is not higher. All right. Last round, it was the challenger that has the decision. Now it's the champion. Brandon, here's the situation. You have an 8. You won the question, so you of course have the right to change that 8. You will need to call this one card correctly, and if you call it wrong, we have a tie game. However, you have control. You can of course pass to Lawrence. He would have to play off the 8 of his own that he cannot change, and he would have to call off 2 cards. And if he makes a mistake, you win the match. So the decision is yours. What do you want to do?
Luck, Lawrence.
He's going to pass it.
Whatever happened, Lawrence, it was a good game.
All right, Lawrence, you have that 8 that you cannot change. Go ahead and call it.
Gosh. Oh, man. Lower.
This is an all-important call here. Lower than the 8. It's an ace. Brandon's picked up his 3rd win. We add another $1,000 to Brandon for winning the match. You are now up to $22,600 so far. You're going to be going back to the money cards in just a moment. Lawrence, you did the best you could there.
Yeah, hey, it's only my first time here. I'll only be back for the season over.
Well, hey, you still have plenty of time, sir, so we are not letting you leave out of here empty-handed. You may have gotten shut out, but we're going to give you a house minimum of $500 just for participating, and we will definitely look forward to having you back on a future episode.
Thank you. I'll take it.
All right, but that's Lawrence McNeil, everybody, and Brandon Hinkle, you got yourself your 3rd win. We're going to take a quick pause and go to a commercial break, but when we come back, Brandon will go back to the money cards to see how much more he can add to that impressive total. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Card Sharks. We're here with our now 3-time champion, Brandon Hinkle, who has a very respectable total of $22,600 all in cash. Brandon, are you ready to see if you can try and win a whole lot more money here to add to your total?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
And let's go right to the money cards. Alright, Brandon, now you've been here twice before, so you are already aware with how this works. We're going to start you off at the bottom row with $200 of betting money. You're going to call high-low for the next 3 cards after that. Bet as you wish. Then we'll move you up to the top row, give you another $400 of betting money. You'll have to call off those 3 cards. Minimum bets are $50 until you get to the big bet where you have to bet at least half of your money. And along the way, you can change 1 card per row with our 3 spare cards on the left side of the board. So with that said, let's go ahead and deal our cards. Give you $200 of betting money, and let's get right to it. And here is your base card. It is a 9.
Bad card. Bad card. Let's change up with number 2, please.
All right, using his change. And we replace that 9 with a 7. Not much better.
Okay, 100 higher, please.
All right, going half of it. You said higher than the 7?
Yes, sir, higher.
It's a king. You have $300 and a king.
All of it lower.
All $300. Lower than the king? It's a deuce. You have $600 and a 2.
All of it higher.
Going all 600 again. Higher than the deuce? It's a 5. $1,200. We move that 5 up to the second row. We give you another $400 of betting money. You have $1,600 and a 5.
Let's see. A little bit higher.
All of it?
200 higher.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Just wanted to hear you. All right. So you said 200?
So 200.
All right, going $200. Higher than the 5? It's a push. All right, let's try that again. $1,600 and a 5.
Okay, let's try 200 clams higher.
Same result, going same bet. $200 higher than the 5? It's a 6. $1,800 and a 6.
Okay, I'd like to change our card, please, with number 3, please.
All right, the 6 goes away and we replace it with an 8.
Okay, 100 clams lower, please.
All right, going $100.
Yes, sir, 100 clams lower.
All right, $100 lower than the 8. No, it's a king. But we've moved that king up to the top row, to the big bet. You have $1,700. You have to bet at least $850, but you can bet more. What is your big bet on this king?
All of the clams lower.
All right, you will have either absolutely nothing or $3,400. If this card is lower than the king, it's a 4. He's done it. $3,400. And when we add that $3,400 to your total of $22,600, you now have a 3-game total of an even $26,000. But your run is not over yet, Brandon, because we're going to take another commercial break. But when we come back, you're going to be facing your next challenger to see if you can pick up your 4th win in a row. We'll be right back after this here on Card Sharks. Stay with us. Welcome back to Card Sharks, everybody. We're back here with Brandon Hinkle, who picked up his 3rd win and did gave us a pretty good performance of the money cards. You're now up to $26,000 overall for your total. But your run is not over yet, Brandon. You are still making that push to 5 wins in a row and potential retirement and an automatic lock in our Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. But to get there, you got to beat your next 2 opponents. Are you ready to meet your next one as you go for your 4th win?
I was born ready, good sir. Let's meet him. Bring him in.
All right, well, your next opponent is Mr. AJ Richards.
Hello, Jose.
Hello, AJ. Glad to have you here with us. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
My name is AJ Richards. I'm 28 years old from Jupiter, Florida, who's an independent contractor who loves to play video games, watch TV, and watch sports.
All right, well, you are up against the worthy champion here in Brandon Hinkle. Do you think you'll be able to take the championship crown for yourself?
He's a great player, and I will try my best.
All right, well, really all we can do. Wish you both the best luck here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so y'all are both familiar with how this game works, I'm sure. AJ, I'm pretty sure we've explained the rules to you backstage, so let's go ahead and get this game started.
All right.
Round 1, and our first question of the round goes to our champion. So, Brandon, here it is. Oh, gosh. Are we really starting with this one? Okay, I guess I have to. Brandon, we asked 100 single men. Are you wearing the same underwear today that you wore yesterday? How many said that they were?
I'll say that's probably about maybe 34.
All right, he says 34 out of 100 are wearing that same underwear that they wore yesterday. AJ, higher or lower than 34?
I would have to say a tiny bit higher.
Alright, he says higher than that. If it is higher, AJ, you'll get control of the cards first. If not, the champion gets control. The actual number of single men who are wearing the same underwear today that they wore yesterday is 14. It is not higher. Alright, so Brandon, you get control of the cards first. So let's go ahead and reveal your opening base card. You have an ace!
Oh yeah! Lower!
Keeping that ace, going lower. It's a 3.
Higher!
Going on higher than the 3. It's a queen.
Lower! Lower!
Going on again, lower than the queen. It's an 8.
Freeze!
He's freezing right there, and just like that, he only needs 1 card to win the first round of the match. And that also keeps AJ away from his cards. But speaking of AJ, you get the next question, and here it is.
Ready?
Alright, AJ, we asked 100 people. Have you ever received a Christmas card from someone you had never heard of? How many people said they had received a Christmas card like that?
I would say it's a pretty medium number. I'll say 59.
Alright, he says 59 out of 100 had received a Christmas card like that. Champ, higher or lower than 59?
I think it's lower than that, please.
Alright, going lower than that. Alright, let's find out together. The actual number of people who have ever received a Christmas card from somebody they had never heard of is 62. It is not lower.
Wow.
Alright, so AJ, you get control of your cards for the first time. Let's take a look at your opening base card. You start off with a 4. Now you can keep it or you can change it.
I'm going higher than that 4.
Alright, keeping it going higher than the 4, it's a jack.
I'm going lower than that jack.
He's going on lower than the jack. No, it's a king. You'll lose those 2 cards. You go back to the 4, and that gives our champion the free chance to call off the 8. But Brandon, you did not win the question, so you cannot change that 8. Go ahead and call it.
Higher.
He says higher. For the first round of the match and $1,000, higher than the 8. No, it's another 8.
Ow. I freeze there.
A pair of dirty snowmen to give him a loss there, and no progress is made.
There you, Olaf.
And we now go to our third question of the round. This one goes back to Brandon. All right, Brandon, here it is. We asked 100 fifth graders, do your parents have trouble when trying to help you with your math homework? How many of those fifth graders said yes?
Wait, could you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
Make sure I understand, please. Okay.
All right, we asked 100 fifth graders, do your parents have trouble when trying to help you with your math homework? How many said yes?
Okay, I think that's relatively a medium number. I say that's probably around about 45 or 5.
All right, he says 45 out of 100 fifth graders' parents do have trouble. AJ, is that higher or lower than 45?
I have to go a tiny bit higher.
All right, going higher than that. All right, let's find out together then. The actual number of fifth graders whose parents have had trouble when trying to help them with their math homework is 53. It is higher. You were well within the ballpark there, Brandon, but AJ is the one that gets control. And AJ, you have that 4 that you still can't change.
I'm going to keep that card and go higher.
Keeping the 4, going higher. It's a jack again.
I'm going to freeze this time.
Playing it safe, gonna freeze at the jack, needing only 3 cards to win the match. And that means we gotta go to our 4th and final question. It is sudden death, so that means somebody has to win on this next play of the cards. AJ, the question goes to you.
Alright.
We asked 100 third graders, who do you think are happier, children or grown-ups? How many of those third graders said the children are happier?
Let's see. I'm thinking 44.
All right, he says 44 out of 100 third graders believe the children are happier. Brandon, is that higher or lower than 44?
That's higher than that.
He thinks it's even higher than that. All right, for all important control of the cards, the actual number of third graders who do believe that believe that children are happier than grown-ups is 77. It is higher. All right, Brandon, you've got the decision. Here's the situation. Now, you have that 8. You, of course, won the question, so you can change that 8 if you so wish. You would have to call off this one card. Call it wrong, and AJ takes the first round of the match. However, you have control. You can pass it over to AJ. He would have to play off the jack, which he cannot change, but he has to call off 3 cards, and if he makes even one mistake, you win the first round of the match. The choice is yours and yours alone, Brandon. What do you want to do?
You know what? I'm gonna play it.
All right, he's going to take it into his own hands. Do you want to change that 8?
Yes, please. I would like to get Olaf out of here, please. Sorry, Olaf. I love you, but not on card sharks.
All right, this is an all-important change. The 8 goes away, and we replace it with a 4.
Fire!
For game 1 of the match and $1,000 higher than the 4, it's a 9. He's done it. All right, Brandon, congratulations. You won yourself your first round of 2 for this match. We add that $1,000 to your total. You're now up to $27,000 in your run. Now, AJ, again, don't count yourself out yet. It's best 2 out of 3, so anything can still happen. Up 1-0. Let's clear the board and prepare everything for our second round. All right. And our first question of this second round goes to our challengers. So, AJ, that is you. Here is your question. Okay, this is interesting. We didn't ask any people for this one. This was a player percentages in a sense. According to a survey by California Pizza Kitchen, 1% of millennials said they would not go on a second date with someone if they ate their pizza with a fork and a knife.
Millennials.
If you need me to repeat the question, I can.
No, I'm just thinking what millennials are.
Well,
if
if you need clarification, I can actually go ahead and look that up for you if necessary.
Yeah, I don't know what millennials are.
I'm curious too, Jose.
So basically, millennials are like the Gen Ys. They're the they are people born between 1981 and 1996.
Okay, so I'm a millennial then.
Too.
If that's the case, I would say about 52%.
Alright, he says 52% of millennials would not go on a second date with someone if they did that. Brandon, higher or lower than 52%?
Normally, if you eat a fork and a knife with a pizza, you see, if the pizza's too hot. I've done that before, and I've had so many dates with my girlfriend. She's always cool with it, so I think it's lower than that.
Alright, lower than 52. Alright. The actual percentage of millennials who said that they would not go on a second date with someone if they ate their pizza with a fork and a knife is 32%. It is lower. right, so Brandon, you get control of your cards. We take a look at your opening base card, and you start off with a king.
Beautiful card. Lower. Take it down. Lower.
Lower than the king, it's a 9.
Please. Back card.
He's freezing at the 9. He keeps AJ away from his cards. And Brandon, this next question goes to you. All right, Brandon, we asked 100 chefs, does eating organic food make you healthier? How many of those 100 chefs said yes, it does?
I think that's round about maybe 24.
24, all right. He says 24 out of 100 chefs believe that eating organic food can make you healthier. AJ, higher or lower than 24?
I have to go higher than that, 24.
Why do you think that is?
Because most of the time chefs cook organic foods, so they would know if it's healthier or not.
All right, well, let's all find out together then. The actual number of chefs who believe that eating organic food can make you healthier is 58. It is higher. Now, that kind of does make sense, considering that those chefs do know what they're doing when they're picking their ingredients. But with that said, AJ, you can control of your cards for the first time. Let's take a look at your opening base card. You start off with a 5.
I'm going higher than a 5.
Keeping the 5, going higher? No, it's another 5! Excuse me. So you lose that card, you go right back to the 5, and that gives our champion the free chance at off the 9.
Lower.
Going lower than the 9? It's a 4.
Higher.
Going on higher than the 4? No, it's a 3!
Ice.
You lose those 2 cards, you go right back to the 9. No progress is made. And we now go to our third question of the round, which goes to our challenger, AJ. That is you. Here's the question. Oh, this is going to be a good one. We asked 100 dads, have you ever used your kid's name as an internet password? How many of those dads said that they had?
I would say about 43.
All right, he says 43 out of 100 dads have used their kid's name as an internet password. Brandon, higher or lower than 43?
I think it's higher than that.
Why do you think so?
Because it's my password, it's not my name, it's passwords of my girlfriend, you see.
Okay. You may want to change it after this episode, but we'll see. Anyways, the actual number of dads who have used their kid's name as an internet password is 63. It is higher. All right, so Brandon, you've got control of the cards once again, and you have that 9.
Let's change that ugly 9, please.
All right, the 9 goes away, and we replace it with a jack.
Beautiful card. Down. Lower.
Going lower than the jack, it's a deuce.
Up. Up. Higher.
Going on higher than the 2, it's a queen.
Lower. Lower.
For game and match and another $1,000 and the 4th win, lower than the queen, it's an 8. He's done it again. Well done, Brandon. You get yourself your 4th win of potential 5 in this run. We add another $1,000 to your total, and you are now up to $28,000. And you're going to go back to the money cards in just a moment. AJ, what can I say? I mean, you were right in saying that Brandon's a worthy champion, and he proved it here tonight.
Well, good luck to... I congratulate Brandon on the win, and I hope he does well on the money cards.
Thank you, AJ. I shake your hand, good sir. Good game.
Well,
Good
AJ,
game.
you are not leaving out of here empty-handed. We're going to give you, of course, our house minimum of $500 for participating. And we most definitely look forward to having you back in a future episode.
Alright, thank you for having me.
Alright, that is AJ Richards. And Brandon, you've done it again. You've got 4 wins so far, and on our next show, we're going to see if you can retire and pick up that 5th and final win. But before we get to that, we got some money cards to play. But we're going to take a quick commercial break before we get to that. We'll be right back to see how Brandon does on this round of the money cards right after this here on Card Sharks. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody, to Card Sharks. We're here with our now 4-time champion, Brandon Hinkle, who picked up another $2,000 in this match. You're now up to $28,000 so far for your run. But how would the sound of adding $32,000 to that total make you feel?
That would make me feel awesome, good sir.
All right, well, let's see if you can pull it off as we go back to the money cards.
I hope so.
All right, now, you've already been here before. You very well know how this works, so we're not going to go through the rules once again. We're just going to get right into it. Give you $200 of betting money. And I wish you the best luck as we hope you add a lot of money to that total. Here is your opening base card. You start off with a queen.
Beautiful card. Lower. All of it lower.
He's going all $200. Lower than the queen, it's a 4. You have $400 and a 4. He's going all of it again. Higher than the 4, it's a push.
All of it higher.
He's trying it again. $400. Higher than the 4, it's an ace. You have $800. We move that ace up to the second row. Give you another $400 of betting money. You have $1,200 and an ace.
All of it lower. Everything lower.
$1,200, lower than the ace. It's an 8. $2,400 and an 8.
Sorry, Olaf. I gotta change you with number 2, please.
All right, the 8 goes away, and we replace it with a 3.
Everything higher.
Going all $2,400. Higher than the 3, it's a 10. $4,800 and a 10.
200 lower, please.
$200, you said?
Sir, 200 clamps lower.
Going $200. Lower than the 10, it's a 7. All right, Brandon, we move that 7 up to the big bet. You have $5,000. You have to bet at least $2,500, but you can bet more, and you can change it.
I'd like to change that card with number 1, please.
All right, an all-important change here. We replace the 7 with another 7. You have to bet at least $2,500. What is your big bet on this 7?
Half of it higher.
You're going all 5,000.
I said half of it.
Oh, you said half of it. Okay, just making sure. All right, so he's going half. $2,500. Higher than the 7. It's a king. He's done it. $7,500. A big payday for you in this round, Brandon. We add that $7,500 to the $28,000 that you won previously. You now have a 4-game total of $35,500. And as I mentioned, on our next show, if you can win the first match, you will retire, and we will be seeing you in the Tournament of Champions.
I would love that.
Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit before that can happen, because that's all the time we've got here on this edition of Card Sharks. Thank you so much for joining us. Our champion is on a roll. We'll see if he can pull off that retirement on our next show. But until that time comes, and the cards come shuffling our way here once again, and I hopefully learn to speak more English better. I'm your host, Jose Caceres, signing off, saying thanks for joining us on Card Sharks. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I cannot speak English for the life of me.